I'm just here going back to a new Looney Tunes video. And if you didn't last one, go and check it out. And we're back with a new reviewing of my favorite Looney Tunes episodes. And this is another one from the first season that I enjoy. And yeah, it starts with at this bank and this cameras. And apparently Daffy was a security guard. And yeah, of course, when the explosion happened and people stole the money, he woke up, but then he's like, I forgot to turn on my sound machine. Yeah, like for real. You know he's gonna get fired. And then yeah, Daffy's getting his coffee, and yeah, we actually see Elmer Fudd as the nose guy on this show. He's the nose guy, Elmer J. Fudd. And yeah, Daffy lost his job, of course. Well, duh. And $10 million were lost due to Daffy's lack of trying to be a security guard. And he's like, unbelievable. Fired of sleeping on the job. And then he's like, what's next? He can't breathe on the job either. And keeps going on how it's talking about robots and how robots don't eat breakfast burritos. And he's like, can anybody explain what I was saying? Like, yeah, he was just talking nonsense, really. And then he crumples up his bag and tosses it and misses the trash can. And then he's like, this is perfect. Without a job, I can do whatever I want. Besides, it's my house, my rules. But then, of course, Bugs is like, Daffy, this is my house. And my rules is, if you're going to live here, you're going to have to pull your own weight. And help out around here, like doing chores, buying things, and telling him that he's gonna have to look for a new job. And yeah, we just cut to him just in this robe and drinking out of a milk carton, and then him just trying to close out all these tabs, trying to find a resume, and then yeah, we get kind of an adult kind of joke kind of here. I mean, we don't see what it is, but we hear this music that plays. Like, I can't really describe it, but this look on their faces, too. Like, yeah, and he's like, sorry, that was definitely not my resume. It's like, yeah, like Daffy was looking at something he wasn't supposed to or something. And then he's like, here's my resume. And then we see Daffy, Sheldon, Duck. Education, none. References, none. Skills, none. Work experience, let's not go there. And then Bugs is like, are you a complete nitwit? And Daffy is, no, I'm a dunderhead. At least the results of his internet IQ test. And then Bugs is like, Daffy, for 6 months, weeks, however, he said about he's been pulling Daffy's weight because thought he was looking for a job. And then he's like, why would I be looking for a job if you're pulling my weight? And he's like, what you're saying is I'm enabling you. And he's like, you're not enabling me. You're just protecting me. Shielding me from their own destructive behaviors. And he's like, I think you're right. And yeah, he tells Daffy that he's kicking him out. And he's like, you're not kicking me out. I'm leaving. And then yeah, he tells Bugs that he's leaving. He's got his suitcase, but Bugs is like, that's my suitcase. And then he's like, well, I'm still going to take my clothes. And he's like, that's my clothes. And he's like, I don't need your stuff. And yeah, just saying of how he can make it out on his own. And then calling Bugs when he left the house, and saying that he doesn't need anybody telling him what to do on a roommate and a job. Technically, you're going to need that, Daffy. And he's like, you hear that, world? Daffy can take care of himself. And he knocks on the door, and he's like, please take care of me, and goes back to Bugs. Like, man, that did not feel like that took for a long time. And then, yeah, later on, we see Daffy not even putting weights on it. And he says that he's pulling his own weight. Not like that. He thinks it's literally pulling a weight, when Bugs was saying you have to pull your own weight. Like, not like that. But then he tells Daffy that he's got him a job with no education, no experiences, and he's going to be starting tomorrow at this corporate or this big building, this Enorma Corp, because he is going to be working as a muffin. He's going to be doing a muffin cart. And then he's like, look out, Enormocorp. Today, I'm a muffin man, having a muffin cart. But someday, I may just have the corner office. And then, yeah, he's trying to get some people to buy some get muffins, but of course they're not wanting any. And of course he thinks that this is pointless, that nobody would want to be like this, and he shouldn't be working, he should be a stay-at-home mom. That literally what he says. And then we see Foghorn Leghorn. Yup, Foghorn Leghorn. I say. And yeah, he's the CEO. And then we just see Daffy making fun of Foghorn Leghorn. And of course they're all looking at him. And he's like, get in here. And telling them, who do you think you are? And what do you got here? And then he's like, I'll tell you what I'm thinking. Looking all serious like, all angry like. And he's like, I bet that's a blueberry muffin. And just going on about these muffins. And then Daffy is like, just pick one. And everybody's all shocked. And he's like, Sean, I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking. And he's like, he's got chutzpah. I'm guessing that's what, something like that. And he says that he's surrounded by bootlickers and slackers. And, crazy people, pretty much. He's surrounded by. And he says that Daffy is there and telling him what he needs to hear. And he's like, what do you have to say about that? And Daffy is like, I think you ought to lay off the muffins for a while. And yeah, everybody is all shocked. And yeah, they're just laughing. Yeah, Foghorn Leghorn is just laughing off of with Daffy. And he's like, come with me, Muffin Man. Let's see if I can get you a corner office. And he's like, wow, that happened faster than I thought. And then yeah, we're seeing this guy coming over to Foghorn on this choice. And then but Daffy is like, man, what is wrong with you? Just go for your gut. You have a big enough one. And yeah, then he's like, I should let you make the decisions from now on. Oh, Lord, that is not a good idea. I mean, I'm just being honest. If you were to tell that to Daffy, of saying, I think I'll let you make the decisions from now on. Oh, Lord, would you actually do that? Is that something you would want to do? It's like saying that to Patrick on SpongeBob. Or saying that to Homer Simpson. Right? It's like doing something like that. Saying, let them be making the decisions. Or even worse, let them be thinking for you. Would you let them be thinking stuff for you? Making the decisions or be thinking for you? I wouldn't think so. And yeah, we just see them going through different things like these desserts, these puppies, which, yeah, Daffy suggests is Cheetah. And then these women as well, which own the choice. And, of course, Daffy is like, the one with the glasses, she looks smarter. And then Foghorn is wondering how he thinks of Enormocorp, and he says that it is all Daffy's. And he's saying that he wanted to hand over the company for some time now. And the only person that he can trust is a Muffin Man, and he used to be a Muffin Man himself. And it looks like he's just gonna literally fall to his death of what it looks like. Because he's like, later, Gator. And steps right off of the balcony. But then, of course, we see him getting on a helicopter ladder. Then saying, remember these words, son. You can always trust a Muffin Man. And then, yeah, Daffy is literally the CEO now. And he's like, hold my calls. I've been wanting to say of hold my calls. And he's like, who's calling me? I don't care. I'm CEO of Enormocorp. And he's like, what would be my first act of CEO of Enormocorp? And yeah, he turns on this noise machine and goes to sleep. And then, yeah, Bugs just comes over and talking about Daffy. And like, corner office, you must really like your muffins around here. And then saying about Daffy's the CEO of Enormocorp. And he's like, that makes sense. And sees Daffy, and he's like, I see they pay you for going to sleep. And just saying of how he doesn't need Bugs' help anymore. And yeah, has this choice of delaying the merger or proceed as planned. And then, of course, he can't make it up. And it's like he needs Foghorn Leghorn, which he said, always trust the Muffin Man, which he goes and gets Pete. Like, of course, this is the guy to ask, right? One of the not brightest characters. And even Bugs is like, oh, great, this is the guy to ask. And then, yeah, he says, proceed as planned. And yeah, then of course he's like, I've never been so sure of anything in my entire life. And then we see the actual guy that was actually running the muffin cart. And he's like, ooh, I would have delayed the merger. And of course Bugs is like, yep, me too. And yeah, Elmer Fudd on the news again, talking about how the Ignorma Corp has gone bankrupt, and due to Daffy's choice. And yeah, Bugs is like, if I would have known that would have happened, I would have kept enabling you. And Daffy is like, well, one thing I know, when I'm carrying my own weight, I drag stuff with me. And yeah, he slips on one of the weight, and he gets stuck and ends up pulling like the curtain stuff down too. Like, yeah. But yeah, another good episode. I'd like to know what y'all think. Catch the next one.